What if you walked into a store, ready to treat yourself, only to feel like a suspect instead of a customer? What if you were delayed at an airport checkpoint, not because of a security threat, but because of the color of your skin? This isn't just anyone, it's Beyoncé, a name known worldwide, yet even she isn't immune to the sharp sting of racial profiling. Stay tuned, because this story isn't just about Beyoncé. It's about the realities of bias, injustice, and what it means to live in a world that still judges by appearances. Before we begin, hit that subscribe button and join us on Whispered Stories, World for tales that provoke thought and spark change. It's a quiet afternoon in one of the most exclusive shopping districts in the world. The kind of place where the air feels lighter, the streets are immaculately clean, and the window displays sparkle as if they belong in an art gallery. Inside a luxury boutique, customers browse in hushed tones, admiring the finest handbags, shoes, and jewelry money can buy. And then, the door opens, in walks Beyoncé. She's dressed casually: jeans, a sleek top, and sunglasses to avoid drawing too much attention. She isn't here for the paparazzi or the fanfare. Today, she's just a woman indulging in a moment of self-care, exploring the treasures the store has to offer. But almost immediately, something feels off. At first, it's subtle, a glance here, a glance there. An employee near the front of the store notices her and whispers to a colleague. Another staff member appears from the back, seemingly with no purpose other than to observe. Their movements are calculated, their eyes sharp. Have you ever felt eyes on you, even when no one says a word? That creeping awareness that you're being watched, not because you're admired, but because you're doubted. Beyoncé felt it too, but she didn't let it show. She moved gracefully through the store, her eyes scanning the displays, her hands occasionally picking up an item to admire it. Her fame didn't shield her from the tension in the air, and she knew it. But she also knew how to carry herself with poise. Years of navigating stardom had prepared her for moments like this. As Beyoncé approached the handbag section, the employee, who had been lingering nearby, seemed to spring into action. They adjusted items on the shelves, moving closer to her, too close. Close enough to make their intentions clear. They weren't there to assist. They were there to monitor. Another staff member joined in, this one positioned a few steps away, pretending to tidy up the counter. It was a delicate dance, their movements choreographed to keep her within their sight lines at all times. To anyone else, it might have looked like they were just doing their jobs. But Beyoncé knew better. The whispers continued. Short, clipped phrases exchanged between the employees. One of them glanced at her, then back to their colleague. Before muttering something under their breath, Beyoncé caught it. She always did. Keep an eye on her. Imagine being in her position. You've worked tirelessly to achieve everything you have. You're a global superstar, your success undeniable. Yet here you are, reduced to a stereotype, an object of suspicion in a store where you could easily buy out the entire inventory. Let me ask you, how would you react? Would you confront them? Would you walk out? Or would you stay silent, letting the moment pass to avoid a scene? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how you'd handle a situation like this. Then came the moment that cemented everything Beyoncé already suspected. She reached for a handbag, a gorgeous piece displayed behind a glass case. As she examined it, the employee hovering nearby stepped closer. Their tone was polite on the surface, but carried an unmistakable undertone of condescension. Can I help you with that? It's quite an expensive item. The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. Beyoncé didn't need to ask what they meant. She knew. It wasn't just a question about the price of the bag. It was a question about her worth, her belonging, her right to exist in that space without proving herself. But Beyoncé didn't flinch. She locked eyes with the employee, her expression calm yet commanding. Without saying a word, she let her presence speak for itself. Now, pause for a moment and think about this. How many people experience this kind of treatment daily? People who don't have Beyoncé's fame, wealth, or platform to call it out. How many are followed, questioned, and judged simply because they don't look the part? If this has ever happened to you, you're not alone. These moments, though fleeting, leave lasting scars. They chip away at your sense of belonging, your confidence, your humanity. So tell me, have you ever been in a similar situation? What did you do? How did it make you feel? Share your story in the comments below. Together, we can shed light on these everyday injustices. Beyoncé's response was nothing short of powerful in its simplicity. She didn't argue, she didn't demand an apology. She simply smiled a small, knowing smile that spoke volumes. Then, she handed the bag back to the employee and said, "I'll take it." Her words were a quiet assertion of her worth, her right to be there. She didn't need to explain herself, she didn't need to prove anything. But her actions sent a clear message: you don't get to define me. As the transaction was completed, the employee's demeanor shifted. The once condescending clerk now seemed flustered, their tone suddenly overly polite. But it was too late, the damage had already been done. This story isn't just about one boutique or one incident. It's a reflection of a much larger problem, a system that allows bias and prejudice to thrive, even in the most seemingly sophisticated spaces. It's about the assumptions we make about people based on their appearance, their race, their background. And here's the hard truth. This wasn't an isolated event for Beyoncé. It's happened before, and it will likely happen again. Because no matter how much success you achieve, there are still those who will try to box you in, to diminish you with their ignorance. But Beyoncé's grace in handling these moments is a lesson for all of us. It's a reminder that dignity and self-worth aren't determined by others, they come from within. What can we learn from this? How can we challenge these biases in our own lives and communities? It starts with awareness, with calling out discrimination when we see it, and with creating spaces where everyone feels valued and respected. If this story resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Whispered Stories World for more stories that inspire change. As Beyoncé stepped out of that boutique, handbag in hand, she left more than just an impression. She left a lesson, a reminder that no matter how the world tries to diminish you, your worth isn't up for debate.